Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be showing you how I made these crushed glass candle holders. Let's go ahead and get started. For the base of each candle holder you're going to need 2 of these Dollar Tree boxes. You're going to need one whole box and the lid of the second box to put it on the other box like this. I'm going to spray paint my boxes using this silver paint. Now that I have finished painting my box, I'm going to use one of these tall cylinder bases from Dollar Tree to place it inside. I'm going to take my base and trace it on top of one of my lids to cut an opening out for it. To begin cutting out my shape, I like to use my X-Acto knife to make an opening big enough for my scissors to go into it. And then I just finished cutting out the circle with my scissors. The strip down the middle of the box is too narrow, so I added 2 pieces of extra cardboard to the bottom lid to make it a little wider. I'm just going to be using hot glue to stick them in place. I'm also going to be using hot glue all around the edges of my lid to stick it to the rest of my box. Then I pressed firmly around the edges to make sure that it's stuck on there well. I also added some extra pieces of cardboard on the inside of my box to make my cylinder base stick out a little higher. I used 4 cardboard pieces for this. Now I'm going to be using some of this mirror reflective vinyl that I bought on Amazon to cover my lid. This vinyl is like a sticker, so you don't need any extra adhesive. I didn't worry about being too neat around the edges since the edges will be covered. Before beginning to fully stick it down, I removed the protective layer from the vinyl. And then I cut out the corners to make it easier to fold down. Now using my X-Acto knife and my scissors, I'm going to cut a small circle out in the middle. Now I'm going to be cutting the rest of the circle into strips like this and fold them down. Once I finished covering up my lid, I made sure that my cylinder vase still fit on it. Now I'm going to decorate the edges of my box. I'm going to be using these flexible mirror sheets that I bought on Amazon to cover the sides of my lid. I'm just going to be using the side of my lid as my template to cut strips of mirror that are the same length and width as my lid. Then just using some scissors, I cut out my strips. You want to use some really sharp scissors for this. You're gonna need a total of 8 of these strips for each candle holder. Now I'm going to begin gluing them onto my box. These are adhesive on their own, but their adhesive is not strong enough, so I'm also going to be using some hot glue. Once I was finished gluing them on, I removed the protective film from my mirrors. And this is what my lid looked like when I was done. Now I'm going to do the same thing to the bottom part of the box. Now I'm just going to use my hot glue to stick my lid in place. To decorate the middle of my box, I'm going to be using some Mod Podge, some decorative base filler that I bought at Michael's, also known as crushed glass, and some fine silver glitter. I used a brush to spread my Mod Podge on my box. Then I spread my crushed glass on top. And then I sprinkled some of my glitter on top of that. And then I let that dry before I flipped it to my second side. And I continued doing the same thing to all 4 of my sides. Once I was done, I put my extra crushed glass in a container to save for future projects. Once everything had dried, I added a coat of Mod Podge to seal in my crushed glass and my glitter. And then I'll just let that dry. Using my paper cutter, I cut out strips from my reflective vinyl that were 3/4 of an inch thick. Then I measured it around my base to cut out any excess. I only wanted it to overlap a little bit. And then I peeled off both the protective film and the back part and sticked it on my base. And then I just placed my bases inside of my boxes. If you want to, you can even hot glue them in place. For my candles, I'm just using these LED candles from Dollar Tree. I really love the way these came out. Nobody would ever think that they were made from cardboard boxes. Thank you so much for watching today's video.